Welcome to Midlife Mood, vlog number 15. Today we're talking all about strength training for women. There's a few things you should know. There's 3 things I'll be covering today, but before we get to that, we're gonna just make the assumption for this entire discussion today that your diet is under control. Today, we're just focusing on strength training. So if you come to me and you say, oh, I wanna get toned, I wanna, look good. Okay, first of all, diet, number 1. Second of all, the word toned means nothing. To me, if you say toned, tone means increase muscle mass, decrease fat. That's what it is. It's a change in your body composition. There's nothing, the definition of toned doesn't exist. What I think might be toned is totally different than what you might think is toned. So for today's discussion, let's go on the assumption. Toned means increase in muscle mass, decrease in fat. In order to see those changes, the first thing we're going to talk about is number 1, progressive overload. So you must have progressive overload in order to see an increase in your muscle mass. So for progressive overload, you're going to want to increase the intensity of your workout or change the duration. So this can look like increasing weight. It can look like changing the tempo of your workout. It can be, you don't even have to use weight. You could just use your body weight. So for example, if I'm doing a wall push-up, I'm a beginner, I'm gonna see body composition changes. As that gets easy, maybe I go to the floor, I do push-ups on my knees, okay? Then I go to regular, like military style push-ups. Then I go to one-arm push-ups. Then I go to clapping push-ups where you push off the ground and you're clapping. All of those things are progressive overload, and you're not changing anything except the way you're doing the exercise. So you're not increasing any sort of weight. You're not bench pressing 50 pounds, 60 pounds, 70 pounds. That's what most people typically think that they have to do in order to see changes. That's not the case. There's lots of ways to see progressive overload. So that example I just gave you with the weights is one example. Another way is tempo. So say you're doing a squat. So maybe your regular squat is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. To change the tempo, you could do 1, 2, hold 1, 2, up 1, 2. That is going to have a change in your body composition, in your muscles, because that's progressive overload as well. If that's too hard for you, you can do time. So maybe you're doing 15 squats and that takes you a minute. Well, next time, maybe you have it take 55 seconds. That's a change. Maybe you're doing 3 sets and you're resting 30 seconds in between each set. Maybe you rest for a minute. Any of those little changes are going to help you continue to see progress. So you don't always have to just be increasing the amount of weight you're doing. There are lots of ways to see that progressive overload. The second thing that I want to talk about is how much weight or how hard do I have to work out in order to see changes? The answer is it depends. So it depends, number 1, what your goal is. Is it power? Is it strength? Is it, getting that toned, just increasing your muscle? So let's just say your goal is to increase your muscle mass. You're gonna wanna aim for anywhere between 8 to 15 reps. If you're doing 17, 18, 19, 20 reps and you can just keep going and it's not hard. So for me, for example, with my wrist surgery, when I get permission, I'm gonna start with wall push-ups. That's probably gonna be plenty for me, and I don't know if I can get to 15. Now, had this been 2 years ago, before my surgery, before I had any problems, that would have been super easy. I could have done 100 of those. That's not gonna change my body composition. So you have to decide for you what is hard, but if you're trying to build muscle mass, 8 to 15-ish, 8 to 12 is gonna be good. again, if you're getting 16, 17, 18, that higher number, you're gonna wanna change something. Either make the exercise more difficult, increase the weight, change the tempo, change the time. Any of those things I covered previously, you're gonna wanna do that. Because if it becomes easy and you're not challenging your muscles, you're not having that progressive overload, you're not gonna see any changes. All right, the last thing I wanna talk about today for women in strength training, number 3, this myth. It's the myth that just won't die. It will not go away. It's been around since forever. I'm old. It's been around since as long as I can remember. You come to me and you say, I want to tone, but I don't want to look like a man. Okay, let's just talk hormones for a minute. You will not look like a man. You are not a man. The biggest difference between women and men, testosterone. So testosterone, you know, men have testosterone. Women have it too, but we have 1/10 to 1/20 of what a man has. So you will not look like a man unless you're taking some sort of hormone replacement, some sort of testosterone, steroids to look like a man. I don't care how heavy you lift. You could be the strongest woman in the world. You're not gonna look like a man. Not only that, not only are hormones different, but ladies, trust me, if it just took lifting weights to look that good, to look like muscular, like a man, we'd have a lot of women walking around looking like men, because there are a lot of women who can lift a lot of weight, but it also takes diet, nutrition. You have to be so strict and consistent with your nutrition to get that lean that for the majority of us, it's just not realistic. You're not going to be that strict and on point with your nutrition, plus with the hormones and the testosterone to look like a man. So if that's been your excuse for not wanting to lift weights, throw it out the window. It's not true. It's not going to happen. You will not look like a man. But if your goal is to be toned, to lose fat and gain muscle mass, you've got to, number 1, focus on progressive overload. Be consistent in your workouts, challenge yourself, and you will see a difference in your body composition. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, let me know. I'd love to answer them, and I'll see you again next week.